They didn't know what to do. They weren't sure, but I said, listen, you better not call her back. I mean, come on, this is a little bit ridiculous. I said, listen, I'm going to take my friend around for about 15 more minutes, and we'll leave. Okay, you guys can go. So they let us go. We make a beeline right for that elevator to get out of that building. Go down the elevator, we go out the street. We go down about 3 or 4 blocks so we could watch the front door of the Hollywood CO. I'd say about 7 to 10 minutes pass, and you see that same security guard bursting out the door, looking down the street. He was looking for us, so we're sitting there kind of laughing at the time. But it was a real scary experience because we thought we were going to get busted. But a little social engineering helped us out of that situation. So there you go.
Never underestimate people's stupidity when getting information. No, I'm serious. This is something a friend of mine actually did when he was about, I guess, 16 or 17. He and a couple of other people went to a central office and basically convinced the guard at the central office that they were there to collect the old IDs because they were going to deliver the new ones. This fucking guard gave him his ID card. This is how trusting people can be.
I got a better one. Remember the days of 8BBS? Anyone here from 8BBS days? Well, there was this other hacker on the board named Paul Montgomery, and he lived up in Stockton, and we wanted to get the test number directory for Pacific Bell, all the different test numbers. It was actually Pacific Telephone and Telegraph. So I said, okay, are you willing to pick it up if I can get them to leave it outside their door? He goes, what are you talking about? I said, don't worry, watch. And I three-way in the central office, and I actually tell them the same story that we're giving them the new directories, and they have to leave the old directories outside the door because we have to shred them. And they did. They left it right outside the door. Unbelievable.
That works more often than you would expect.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to try something here. No guarantees this will work. I had a bit of a tussle with some car services over this last week because there are some people we wanted to send cars for at airports. And you know what? It's really kind of weird. If you want to pay to have somebody picked up at an airport, you can't really do it. You have to have the credit card on you when you get dropped off, and that's very hard if you're paying for somebody else. And we were trying to ask them, well, how is it possible to actually pay for somebody if you don't have a big corporate account? Like, well, the person has to have the credit card on them. It's just a whole big thing when people wound up taking taxis. So yeah, our first thing is with the car service. But in order to get the information for the car service, we have to get information from an airline. What I'm going to try to do first, well, this is easy because this is completely above the board. I just want to find out all the flights coming into JFK tomorrow from Los Angeles, flight numbers. And I guess the biggest challenge here will be getting a human on the phone. Let's see how hard it is to do that. You have to sort of scream representative at some point, and I might have to do that.
Well, JetBlue Flight 198 gets in at 10 o'clock from Vegas. No, yeah, from Vegas, you could use that one.
Well, that's handy information. But I figure American Airlines has more flights getting in from LA tomorrow, so I'll be able to use that as part of my ruse. But before I pick up this phone, I don't want to deafen anybody, so are there rules?
I'm ready.
Well, what do? I just pick up and...
When you want to talk, you press
I press the thing when I want to talk and release it, and then it's muted. So I can insult them and they won't hear me. All right. All right, do we have a dial tone? Okay, and I'm going to...
Now you can hear me.
Now you can. Okay. So I'm going to call American Airlines.
Welcome to American Airlines.
Para español, diga español.
Main menu. Please say reservations, flight and gate information, advantage services,
I watch them try to
or more
convince me
options.
not to talk to a representative.
Representative.
I understand you'd like to speak to someone. If you'd like to try again, please say reservations, flight and gate information.
Representative!
Okay. Do you want to talk to an agent about travel within the United States, Puerto Rico, or the U.S.?
Representative!
Our agents are helping other customers right now, but I'll connect you to the next available agent. Your wait should be approximately 4 minutes.
Oh,
this
please.
call may be recorded.
Please note that ticketing and checked baggage fees may apply. Check AA.com or with your reservations representative for details.
I know why they're called AA. Do we want to tell stories while we wait, or do we want
and
to
departure information is
skip
available
over this
by
and
calling
just
our
go directly to the car
automated
service?
flight system
You know,
at
just as much
1-800-242-4444
as, you know, we all have
or on our
stories
website
of...
at aa.com.
Can
where
anybody
you
hear
can
me?
also view
There it goes, all right. You know, just as much as we have stories, you know, that are hilarious that we've gotten away with.
To help
I mean,
expedite
sometimes,
the call, please have your credit card handy.
Sorry, I thought it was a human. It wasn't.
Please note that
you know, sometimes things go bad, especially when you're starting and learning the trade. You know, some of my friends down here, they know the story. You know, one night, you know, I think I was about 12 or 13 years old. Somebody said, you know, I bet you can't get the social security number of somebody. Yes, malicious, 12 years old, you know, trying to do whatever I can. So I call up somebody pretending to be the local, was it the electric company, which is DP&L where I live. And as it turned out, it ended up being a lot later than I thought it was. So it was probably about 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. Big mistake. The people, somehow, they did a police trace on the phone. About 3 or 4 days later, I got a call from a police substation asking to speak with my parents when I told them I was 13. I said, you know, no thank you, and hung up. They called back, hung up. Called back, hung up, cell phone. And they tried this for about a week trying to get a hold of us. And, you know, the fact is that all you have to do is, if you're on a cell phone, hang up, and nobody can do anything to you. So, we all get caught sometimes, and it's not the end of the world.
When talking about being backstage with a clipboard, I went to a Smothers Brothers concert with Pat Paulson about 2 hours before the performance, maybe 3, with a buddy of mine, and I had such a clipboard. We were walking down a downstairs corridor through around by the dressing rooms, and I could see coming towards us a gentleman with a camera, and behind him was a guard. So the fellow comes up, and I say to him, "Hi, I guess you're not supposed to be here either. Let's step into this dressing room." I then take the little notebook I had on my clipboard, handed it to my buddy, told the other fellow, "Start playing with your camera," and I start writing on my clipboard. The guard steps in. I look up and go, "May I help you?" No, that's okay. And off he went.
for the delay in answering your call. As a reminder, you may obtain flight arrival, departure, or gate information.
We don't need to know this.
on our automated flight information system at 1-800-242.
I'm going to give this about 2 more minutes, and I'm going to just jump to the next part because
The American Airlines website at
our time is valuable, and they don't seem to know that. I'm sorry, are you in the middle of something, Cheshire?
Your call is important to us.
Were you in the middle of something? Talking? Telling a
Not
story?
sure. Which story does... Do you really want to hear the story of how I got my area code again?
I might have to
when they-
interrupt. If I do this, that means they picked up.
Okay, when they split the 407 area code around Orlando, Florida, I'm the fellow that went to the Public Service Commission hearing. Well, before the hearing, I first went up on the internet. And, well, I get to the hearing, and I explain that we who live near Cape Canaveral, the countdown capital of the world, we'd kind of like area code 321. Oh, and by the way, here's some printout from the North American Numbering Plan Administration showing it's available. Well, the way I look at it, of course, is that I asked for it, they approved it, so it must be my area code, but I share. However, I did save the best number for myself. I will admit it here to you all now. My phone number is 321 liftoff.